Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna.
So how's it going?
It's good. I was just gonna say, where do we start for this week?
Well, this topic that we picked today, I thought we were not going to find any information, just our personal opinions, which are obviously very valuable. But
Right.
it's we're talking about unlearning. So
Unlearning.
things that we knew or we thought to be true, and then suddenly they're different because of circumstances or life or whatever, and how frustrating it is to have to learn something new.
And I don't even know where, and this topic goes in so many different directions and in so many different ways. And I was going down crazy spots, and I think you said you were too, right?
Mhm.
So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun topic, I think.
I was bouncing around all over the place.
It's fascinating.
It's so fascinating.
Mhm. Unlearning. All right, but before we do that, how was your salad eating going?
So I had 6 days because we are of our recording cycle, but I did 3 days of salads because I didn't have I wasn't at home for 3 days. And the 2 days I did salad at home and they were fantastic. It was very balanced and it takes me a long time to eat salad, so I'm very full by the time I'm done. And I had
Okay.
like I put hemp seeds and I put some protein in there, either chickpeas or edamame or just flax seeds, all kinds of stuff, nuts. So it's delicious. Um, but the third day I ate a salad at Panera
Okay.
and I was like, there's nothing in this salad.
What?
It was just kind of like a boring salad.
So it wasn't exciting.
No, it was like romaine, lettuce, some edamame, avocado. I
That's
think
a
that,
lot in a salad.
yeah, but I need more like color and
Oh, it wasn't visually pleasing to you.
visually, or like the texture was all kind of flat, nothing in interesting. So, but here's what I noticed. When I ate the salads those 3 days, I felt great. And because you wanted to know, my bowels worked great. It was all
I wanted to know that.
wanted to know. So I feel good. It helped with the bloating sometimes you get with your
Were,
stomach.
were they dinner or lunch, or did that not matter?
I usually do a salad for lunch.
Really? Tell me why.
It's one thing that I guess I've always done. Maybe I need to unlearn this, but I always had this impression that you shouldn't eat like raw vegetables at dinner. I don't know if that's true or not. Who knows?
So wait, when you say that you've always had this impression, is that something you think you've learned?
Probably
You shouldn't have raw vegetables at dinner.
because it gives you like gas and it may upset your stomach. So then by the time you go to sleep, you don't want to be um making a lot of
Okay.
noise.
So this is, I'm sure, a big shocker, but I've learned opposite of that. Like we should always have our salad at dinner.
Tell me why.
I don't know, but my whole life we've always just I very, very seldom have ever eaten a salad for lunch up until I would say the past year and a half.
Oh, that's just something I'm gonna need to investigate.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I really kind of want to do a poll on our Facebook page. By the way, join our Facebook page if you're listening to this. Wait, what? And we're gonna have to do a poll.
Yeah,
Typically, when you eat a salad, do you do it at lunch or dinner?
yes. Actually, I would love to start eating a salad for breakfast, is what I would really love.
I've had a salad for breakfast like 3 times in my life, and I they were delicious each time.
Yes. It feels so refreshing.
Yes, and I feel like, "Oh, I'm already rocking it. I ate my vegetables today." I
Yes.
honestly felt that way.
Yes, I can see that totally.
Yep, and I put a, egg on mine, and I put, maple balsamic vinegar. It didn't even need oil, and it just had that hint of, like, breakfast syrup, but it was a balsamic vinegar. It was fabulous.
And vinegar is so good for your stomach. So all around great things.
You're making me want a breakfast salad right now.
Okay.
I know.
Saving this for later.
I'm gonna have to think about that. So, all right, so wait, go back to your salad. So you did it 3 days, or wasn't your goal 5?
It was 5. And I will do that this week, I think.
Okay.
So what happened was we were out and I did try to pick vegetables, for whatever was offered, but I didn't have control over like, can I get a salad, please? Because we were at events. And I feel, this sounds crazy, I feel bloated.
Really?
I think I just feel some satisfaction physically from having the salads. I feel it's good for my stomach. It helps things move. It's just good. I don't know. I feel
Okay,
like I'm eating stuff.
I think I need to pay attention to that. Maybe when I'm bloated, it's because I don't have that salad.
Maybe.
This is a great experiment for everybody to do. Like, do you notice on the days when you have salads, and maybe it's a consecutive thing, like maybe part of the experiment is having salad 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
But how do you feel after that?
Yep. I'm gonna keep it up. I mean, I enjoy the salads, first of all.
Yeah.
Someone suggested today to put like roasted vegetables in a salad, and I thought, oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. I just roasted tomatoes, onion, peppers, and I roasted them for like forever. I don't know how long it was. They were delicious. So I bet you they would be really good on a salad. You wouldn't even need salad dressing.
No, you wouldn't at all.
No, because I drizzled it in olive oil before I roasted them and they were juicy and delicious. It's a great idea. I
Yeah,
love it.
I'm gonna keep it up.
Yeah. Speaking of tomatoes and roasted peppers and all of that stuff that I did, that was one meal that I actually did have pleasure from.
So your call to action was,
To see if I'm enjoying my food. Like after I'm done, was it something I liked or was it just I was eating because I know I needed to eat? And for the most part of my week and for almost all of my meals, I'm not enjoying it. I'm just eating. And
why do
it
you think that is?
I think there's several reasons, honestly. The first one is a lot of it is convenience. I don't want to have to take the time to make something or put something together. So I just throw something together that's really quick, right? Second reason is I think a lot of the time I eat food, it's a financial thing. Like I'm not going to go out and spend a ton of money to make myself something that's enjoyable when I have a million other things that I have to spend my money on.
But okay, if
Yeah.
you're cooking, maybe you don't like cooking, right?
No, I don't like cooking.
Okay, that's probably part of your problem.
Maybe, but I
Because
make dinner. Like I make dinner for my family.
of course, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously you're a good mom and a good wife and you're gonna do
Right.
all that. But if you didn't enjoy the cooking process, then maybe it's kind of like when someone else cooks for you, do you enjoy it?
Probably a lot more. Yeah. Maybe that is the problem. But I don't,
Interesting.
and then how would I fix that? I don't think I can.
Well, do you make things that you like to eat or no?
Um, Probably, if I'm being honest, probably I make things that I will eat and I like them, but I'm not like, oh, this was fabulous.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite of you.
Tell me what do you mean? You make food that you love?
I make food typically that I like to eat. Um, and if it's something that my husband likes to eat, I'll make sure that I make something that I like also. So if I have two vegetables, for example, I'll make sure one of them is something that I like.
Okay.
Um, and I like a lot of the stuff my kids like. So when they're home, it's easy for me to cook a lot of variety and they're very appreciative and oohing and eyeing. So that helps me enjoy
Yeah.
the process. And if I'm ever alone, I get a little bit excited planning the meals that I'm going to make for myself.
Yeah, no, not me. If I'm
No,
alone, I'm eating a smoothie with cereal in it or a sandwich, a peanut butter and jelly. Like I'm not doing anything for me.
really.
Yeah. This goes back to I hate cooking, so I'm not gonna ever cook for myself. I mean, I shouldn't say ever, but I'm not gonna just cook for myself, typically.
Interesting. I love having like something special that I like when I'm alone.
I mean, I agree. I see the value in it. By the way, when I did make things for myself, when I do make things for myself that I say only I'm going to eat this, I do enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like when I made the spaghetti squash with the tomatoes and the feta cheese in it, I loved it. I got enjoyment out of it. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just not making enough food for that I am choosing.
Do you think you could change anything to make that different?
I could change it and make my own food as well as their food. my family's food, which I'm not opposed to, but just sometimes I just don't feel like it.
So you're saying you would make a separate meal for yourself?
Yes.
Well, that's a lot of work.
Right. And I'm not doing it.
So they wouldn't eat what you eat?
No, no,
Huh,
no, not in
that
a million years.
really?
Not even my husband.
So they just like what they like.
Yep. Hmm.
Well, I mean, I can
Which
see
I
that,
like what I like too. So I'm not, it's not that, yeah, no. I
but
think everybody likes what they like,
oh yeah,
you know?
but if someone's making something for me and they've experimented a little bit, I'm gonna try it because I think it's fun.
That's when I make two things, when I experiment.
Okay, gotcha.
And they'll try it, but most of the time it's like, no.
Yeah. There have been a lot of failures in my house too, but I'm still gonna try.
Yeah.
It's
So,
okay.
but I'm still working on it. And now you gave me something else to think about when it comes to it. Like, is that part of it? It's like, I'm not finding joy in it because it's not something that I chose to make and eat.
Hmm.
Like, I'm always like, what do you guys want for dinner? They tell me what they want. I'll make it. I'd rather them tell me what they want. I make that. It's not something that I'm like, oh, this is fabulous. I'm not overly excited for it.
Yeah.
So that's probably a lot of it.
And if you don't enjoy the process and the whole, if it's like seems like work to think of something to make and then making it, and you'd rather be doing 10 other things, of course it's not going to be pleasurable.
Right. Yeah. So then I have to figure out, like, then why am I eating it?
Mm,
It's a whole thing, and it's a lot of mental thing. And I'm really thinking this might be a lot of my issues with my weight gain recent, like, my lack of losing the COVID weight I put on is like, maybe I'm just not enjoying my food. So I'm eating the wrong things that my body just doesn't even like.
so interesting.
I know, right?
I'm
So
sure a lot of people have this issue too, is sometimes, especially for yourself, you don't want to cook
no.
and you just eat to eat, but then you're not nutritionally or emotionally satisfied with the food you
Mhm.
ate. So then you look for something else.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm. So anyway, which actually leads me to something I want to unlearn. Which is actually leading me to something that I've always my entire life heard people say, and I still hear people say, well, I only make one meal for my family and that's it. You
Mhm.
eat what I cook.
Yeah.
Have you heard that? First of all, do you follow that philosophy?
No. If there's certain things that certain people won't eat, like they just hate that dish,
Hmm.
I'm gonna make something that they like because I am the pickiest one in the whole family. If I don't
Hmm.
like it, I don't want someone forcing me to eat it.
That's how I feel. Like, and it makes, well, anyway, I have changed my philosophy on that. I used to be like, I'm making this one meal and you all eat it or you don't eat it. And I really come to realize that, like, we don't all like the same food. If we all ate at a restaurant, we would all get something different. And there's a reason for that. So I'm not going to sit here and force somebody to eat something that they don't even like or they don't even agree with. And I think it's wrong to do that. But that's changed in my life completely. That has only been the last couple years that's been that way.
But do you do that for yourself?
I will make myself something else but it's again, it's just something quick and easy.
Hmm.
So yeah, I will do that or I will make two different things sometimes that two of us like and two of us like if it's that. Because I
Right.
don't think that we all have the same taste, nor do we all have the same taste for something on a same day,
Right. Very true.
you know?
Very, very true.
So I don't know. I that's one thing that I have evolved to change my learning on that. But I still get, and I'm going to say this in the most loving way I can possibly think of. There's a certain generation that says I'm making one thing and they eat it and that's it.
Well, yeah, because if you're busy, you don't want to be in the kitchen for hours.
No,
I
but
can
I
see,
don't even think it's busy. I don't think it's that.
no?
No, I don't.
What do you think it is?
I think that some people feel like that's a respect thing.
Ah, yes.
You need to respect me and the fact that I made this. And I don't look at it that way. Maybe I should, but I don't.
What do you see it as?
Um, I feel it as like, I don't think it's disrespectful if I make chicken parmesan and you don't like chicken parmesan. That's not disrespectful.
Mhm.
Do you see what I'm like, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm on board with you.
It's not disrespectful at all, but I feel like that's how it comes across with certain people that have that philosophy,
Right.
you know?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm sorry, I got crazy on that one. But anyway, what about you? Tell me about this unlearning thing. Let's jump into that.
This is connected though. This is all connected. We have certain, let me start with the definition.
Okay.
That- So unlearning is the process of discarding something from your memory. When you unlearn something, you forget it, put it aside, and you lose knowledge of it. So it's something,
Unlearn something. Say that again. You forget it, you put it aside, and you lose.
knowledge of it.
Okay.
So you have to discard something from your memory, basically. So it might be like I was saying in the I think last episode, my kids always used to eat milk and cookies for bed. But now I know that obviously milk is not great. And then cookies, the sugar are going to keep you awake. So
Right.
maybe that's not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? So I have to
So
unlearn something.
you had to unlearn that.
Yeah.
But do you think you really forget it?
No, I think you forget the either the attachment or the conviction to that idea that this is the way I'm going to do something and this is correct and this is how it's always been done. And
Boom. Did you hear what you just said? This is how it's always been done.
yes,
That's the part that we have to change.
yes,
That's the part that people need to hear over and over and over again. Just because something has been done this way doesn't mean we don't change it. And I've heard people say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I don't agree with that expression. I
yeah,
think that sometimes we have to tweak it.
yes,
It doesn't mean it's broken, but we need to tweak it.
I
And we
agree.
need to relearn things.
We have to
Mhm.
because we are humans who are ever evolving. I'll give you an example, okay? You're going to laugh. I think I've used this example before, but I, for the longest time, probably for 50 years of my life, I didn't like celery.
I don't.
I just didn't like celery. And then I was at a party where it was actually really a cute cup and it had veggies in it and hummus on the bottom. So the veggies were like cut in sticks and it was sitting outside of the cup. And it was so pretty. And then I had everything left. I had eaten everything but the celery. And I'm like, this is kind of embarrassing to only leave the celery. So I'm like, let me just try it. And I liked it. So I had this fixed idea that I hate celery. And then I tried it and I was like, I actually don't hate it anymore because my taste buds have evolved.
Oh, yeah, which I didn't say this last week, but that's a great part. Your taste buds 100% change and or decrease as we get older. So that's interesting that you tried it and you like it now.
Yeah. And so that made me think, well, maybe there are other things that I have held fast that I absolutely don't like this and I'm not going to eat it. For example, beets.
Yeah.
I thought I don't really like beets, but it's not a like or a dislike for me anymore. It's just there.
Well, and also you have to try things 15 different times
Yeah.
and different cooking methods in different ways. So when we say, I don't like this food, we need to unlearn that habit and go, no, I need to try something new. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So I think we both had two of the same example. Oh, no, we had one of the same examples because I immediately went down the road of what are some things that I've learned that have changed now, right?
Yes, yes.
So one of them is, and I don't know if you knew this one, is when I was in school, butterflies, before they turned into a butterfly, a caterpillar went into a cocoon and
Mhm.
then it became a butterfly.
Right.
Now my kids have learned a caterpillar goes into a chrysalis. It's not a cocoon. It's totally
Okay.
different. So that's a perfect example of something that I've learned and I need to change. And you and I both came up with the fact that Pluto
Hmm.
used to be a planet when we were both in school, and it is not a planet anymore,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Unlearning that.
yes.
And people get mad about this, by the way.
What do you mean?
I have heard somebody I live with gets really mad about it. Like, it should be like, why, who made the decision that it's not anymore? And I'm like, don't you understand that like new research and new science is constantly coming out and it's wrong. Sometimes things are just wrong. And why is it hard for us as humans to accept?
It's that resistance,
Yeah,
pushback of, oh no, I'm not accepting that at all.
right. And we need to change that, don't you think?
Absolutely. I was trying to think of examples of things we've unlearned, and I was like starting as when we were children. And if you've ever seen a child sucking their thumb,
Yep.
and they have to stop sucking their thumb, and you try to all these techniques to get them to unlearn sucking their thumb,
Mhm.
it's not an easy process at all.
No.
It gives them comfort, it's a
Mhm.
habit, it's a lot of things.
They actually you have to actually they're actually trying to learn how to self-soothe themselves
Yes,
without that. For my kids, it was a pacifier.
yes, but it's the same idea.
Same idea, yeah, like, they have to unlearn that that's what gave them the comfort and the soothing, you
And
know?
even for children, it's not that easy to unlearn something.
It's hard.
Or the other example I thought of was when a child is being potty trained, right? They learn, I mean, they don't know, but you use their diaper to use the bathroom, but they have
Right.
to learn how to use a toilet and how to listen to
Mhm.
the potty. And that's a long road. I mean, you remember potty training children.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yes, they're unlearning what they've always known.
Yes.
And I think that just really shows that all of us, it's just hard to do, no matter what age you are. Do
It's
you know what I mean?
very hard because you know something very well, and then you suddenly have to learn something different.
Mhm.
So then
Yeah.
I was trying to think of examples from our adult lives, and the most recent one that came to my mind was COVID. When
Okay, tell me what
COVID
you mean.
when COVID hit, we had a routine, a way of doing something. Everybody went to work, everybody came home from work, everybody was in the office, and suddenly everybody was working from home. Then you were on Zoom, and those poor teachers who were like trying to manage their classroom from a computer, that was awful. So we had to unlearn our way of doing things with work and school, and then relearn this whole new technology of being on a computer. And then, oh, you're muted still, and oh, you're not on camera, and like all of that. I mean, we're still saying, oh, you're muted,
Right.
still learning this. And it's been how many years now?
Mhm.
So that was one. And the other one was, I don't know if you remember, but in the old days, I sound really like an old person. We used to pay cash for everything, and that was always the desirable way to do that.
Yes.
But now it evolved to checks, and then checks evolved to credit cards because that's safer and there's protection. And that's even evolved to like digital payments. So
Mhm.
like PayPal, Venmo, just Apple Pay, like all these ways where if
Right.
you have the ability to understand that, it just seems overwhelming.
Mhm. And we
Yeah.
have to okay, so, along with the technology, like, I don't even wanna get a new iPhone because I don't wanna unlearn this way. I know they took away
Yep.
this button and they put this, like, I gotta relearn, unlearn, and it's just sometimes I don't want to. I have a million more things in my life. So I think a lot of us don't want to
I
unlearn
when
things.
I didn't have a home button on my phone, I was like, I don't know, how am I supposed to go back to the main screen?
Yeah, like, I don't want to, and I think so I think where I'm just now going with this is, like, I wrote down some things that I personally know I need to unlearn, right?
Okay.
So, for me, one of them is that and I'm getting really good with this one, is that you have to have your heart rate above a certain amount in order for it to count, and in order to get any activity, it has to be certain minutes in a row, like 20 minutes of activity, and I'm getting really good at that. Okay. So that's one. And I think a lot of people fall into, I don't have 20 minutes to exercise, so I'm not going to do it today. No, every amount counts, right? That's one. Another one, and I'm getting good at this one, is throwing away food.
Okay. That's a hard one
A
to
lot of people, a lot of cultures, a lot of families, that's really hard. And they'll say, no, you can't throw that away. Or I'll say, I'm gonna just throw that away. And they're like, oh my God, no. Like, that's another one.
Yep.
Right? That's something we have to unlearn.
That's a
If
huge one. If you're in restaurants or if you're at a party, I've hosted parties where I have food left over, and I'm not a person who likes to keep it because if it's been sitting out all evening, I just want to throw it away. And
Mhm.
we're like, no, it's so good, still keep it. So I keep it and I end up throwing it away like a day or two later. Why
Yes.
put the container in the water? And
That is my next one. And this one I'm not good at. Taking food home from a restaurant.
you are good at
I'm
taking
not good at this one. I always take it home to just throw it out a day later or eat it and it tastes like crap.
Yeah, it does not taste good at home
It
usually.
never tastes good the next morning, ever, or the next day, rather. Like, that's one that I need to unlearn. I need to unlearn that habit of always getting a to-go box.
Yep.
Anyway, what do you have any?
Um, so probably so many. I don't even know. I think I'm such a creature of habit that for
Mhm.
me, thinking a little bit outside of that makes me uncomfortable. So if I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner at the same time, or if I eat only breakfast food at breakfast or lunch,
Ah,
like
that's a good one.
I'm like tied to those things. Or the thing I think I was sharing with you was I only work out in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
If I have like an idea, if I haven't showered, then I can work out. But if I've already showered, I have less of an inclination to work out and then shower again. And that's silly because what if the day doesn't allow for me to work out in the morning?
Right. Or
It's
can I ask you this question? What if you just don't shower afterwards?
No, I can't not do that.
What if you're just staying home?
No, I would still have to shower if I worked out.
You would have to?
Unless it was like yoga or Pilates or something where I
Or
wasn't.
what if you just went for a walk, a half hour, 30-minute, you know, a walk? Like, I think that sometimes we get into that headspace too, where it's like, but no, there's no rule that says you have to shower.
No, that's true. If I wasn't sweating, I don't need to.
Yeah.
But even if I took a walk outside, I could smell the outside smell and it would bother me.
Okay. So that's just, but that's your, like, your rule, your pet peeve kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a personal, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm so rigid in my way.
Yeah.
I think I'm evolving, but I'm just like, it has to be this way. It's always been done this way. Okay, I'll give you an example. I learned this lesson actually very early with my kids. Um, I was teaching one of them some math problem, maybe division or something. This was before math evolved to this
Oh,
crazy.
there's another one, the new math, and everybody gets so bent out of shape over it. Anyway, go on.
So he's doing this problem, and I said, well, this is the way you do it. And he goes, well, why can't you do it this way? And he came up with some crazy idea that was completely different, but completely right. And I go,
Mhm.
well, no, that's not the way it's been done. This is always the way it's been done. You divide like this, you multiply like this. And he goes, but this is right. And he explained to me why, and it worked. And
And
then
that's probably the way they teach it now, by the way. He was probably
probably,
at the cutting edge of it.
probably, but it's you get so tied to your this is the way it's always been done. And then you close your mind to possible new ideas, new solutions, new possibilities for anything.
Mhm. So true. Another one that is a big, a common one is everybody's so worried that my kids' age, they're not going to know how to sign their name because they don't know cursive. Guess
Right.
what? It's going to be fine. Their signature is just going to look like their name. Like, their print is now their signature. There's just going to be no need to have two lines anymore that say print
Now
name.
you
Sign
sign
name.
everything on the computer.
Well, that too, like that too. So I think that we all are guilty of just wanting things to stay the same and
So
not.
when I was telling my youngest son who was home about this topic, and he said, you know what you're talking about, what it reminds me of? And I said, what? And he goes, it reminds me of that State Farm commercial where you're like, we can't keep you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money. And that's their slogan. And then they give examples of like in an elevator or like printing out things or different ideas of what our parents did. And it's kind of like that. We learn things obviously from our parents, and we think,
Mhm.
I think the difference is this. When I don't know for you, but when I was growing up, we couldn't ask why something was. It was just do it. Don't ask the why. So we
Mhm.
just did what we were taught. And now kids want us, they're like, well, why does this matter? And why do we have to do it? And what's the
Yeah.
purpose? So that has evolved for
Which
sure.
is exactly what I did for this topic. Cause I immediately went to, well, why don't we want to unlearn this?
Mhm.
And where I went down was, we don't want to unlearn it because we've already spent time and energy learning it this way.
Yes,
As simple as something as minute and silly as asking for a to-go box, I've already spent time and energy making that my routine over these 40 years or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I don't want to change that because now you're going to tell me that I wasted my time learning this.
right.
Then the waste of time part, there's actually a name for it called chronophobia, is when you have a fear of wasting time.
Oh, wow.
I know. That was from the Cleveland Clinic webpage, by the way. Chronophobia it's an extreme fear of passing time when you get anxiety over the fact that, like, what do you mean? I learned this and now I got to relearn it, or just in general of the passing of time. And I thought that was interesting. I don't think I have that. I do think my son is borderline, if I'm being honest with you on that one.
Okay.
But I thought that was interesting too. Like maybe that's part of it. Like we get mad about it and we buck the system because we don't want to feel like we wasted our time.
Right. Because you have invested time and effort in doing things a certain way. And
Mhm,
why should you have to learn something new?
mhm. How about let's go with food industry? Like sugar was not bad for you. And then fat, it was low fat, low fat, low fat, no fat, no fat, no fat. Then it was, well, I said the sugar. Then I mean, there's always constant. There was eggs were bad, then eggs were good, and like those are things
Yeah,
too.
coffee's good. Yeah.
Yes, like we get frustrated because that's constantly changing, and we just need to actually just say, well, why is this bothering me?
Mm.
Is
It's a
it
good,
bothering me because now I got to relearn that this is how it goes? Or I was set in my ways of not eating this food or eating this food, and now you're telling me to change it,
right. Right.
you
I,
know?
I think it makes a difference because, like, if you've always eaten a certain way and you don't really know that there's another way, it seems
Mhm.
frustrating to say, well, I don't want to add a salad to my routine, or I don't want to have to add extra, I don't want to count my protein, or I don't want to, like, there was resistance because it seems so like so much work, and it seems like so much ahead of you. It
Yeah.
just seems overwhelming.
Yeah, changing something really changes and challenges your own beliefs and your comfort zone, and that's why it's scary,
You hit it right on the nose, I think. It
isn't it?
challenges your comfort zone and your beliefs.
Mhm.
And then if you are questioning your beliefs, you feel like, well, is everything I know wrong?
Right. And that's probably the subconscious part of you that's saying, "Well, is everything wrong?"
Mm.
But we still have to no, just some things are changing.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's important because we evolve, our society evolves, our food evolves, our knowledge evolves. Like we just are always learning. So we need to be able to be open to changing.
mhm.
Don't you?
I do, and I honestly think that you and I are do that. There's many weeks on our call to actions we're trying to change something or relearn something or strive for a different way of doing things, and I think that it comes from talking about it, actually.
Oh, absolutely. The
Yeah.
talking about it and then having to make these call to actions. I had
Mhm.
a moment today where I was like, why do I need to make a call to action? I've been doing it for what, almost a year now. I don't need to make a call to action. And then I was thinking that, well, that's where the change is happening. Even if I don't like it, or one week it hasn't been successful, or I didn't do it, or whatever it was, it's making me think, how can I
Mhm.
be different? How can I change and be doing something better for myself?
Right. I mean, I think we should always want to be changing ourselves a tiny bit to bet in the better direction, right?
And
Isn't
that's one of the things I was reading is one of the reasons it's overwhelming is because it looks like this mountainous, monstrous task. But to break it down into much more manageable pieces, we've talked about this in other episodes where, like, make it so that it's really
that
doable. You know, if you're going to try to work out, just go to the next, like you said, the end of the driveway and come back
yeah.
where you're starting.
Yeah, and we make it this huge ordeal. We really
Yes.
do.
I
I was
did
listening
have, sorry.
I know I
Go
was
ahead.
listening to a podcaster said that for 2 weeks straight, she just put on her workout clothes. She didn't even go anywhere in them.
Oh, really?
She just said, "I'm gonna change my clothes every day this week," and then the next week was every day the next week, and she didn't do anything. And then the next day was, "All right, well, now I'm gonna walk to the stop sign and then back." So she put her clothes on, then she walked to the stop sign, which was only, and my dog's gonna bark here, so I'm gonna let you finish your thought while he barks. Go ahead.
Well, we all have to bark sometimes. Um, so there was a list I found for unlearning bad things from psychcentral.com. And what they said was to reflect on your beliefs and to pay attention to what tell yourself every day. That's the
Reflect on your beliefs, meaning reflect, let me just give an example, like, I'm gonna reflect back on my to-go boxes from a restaurant. Like,
Mhm.
just acknowledging that, that is an issue for me, kinda
Or
thing.
belief that if you throw it away, it's wasting food,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we think is if I don't take it home, I'm wasting it. But
Well,
you're
and
gonna
also reflecting on it is important because I didn't even know that was something I do until I sat down and I realized I was making this list out and I went, "Oh god, that's really a problem I have."
yes, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, go
Um,
ahead.
the second one was empower reframes. So when you start thinking about it differently, like I don't want, let me just continue with this example because I think it's a great one.
Okay.
I am not going to bring the food home just to throw away it at home. So you have to think about that in a positive way so that you're encouraged to do it. Like, I didn't really enjoy it that much, so I'm going to leave it at the restaurant, or I know I'm just not going to eat it at home. It won't taste,
Yes.
whatever
Yeah.
positive things to enforce the behavior.
Say, "I'm not gonna bring this home. It's going to taste bad tomorrow."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Number three was engage in mindful practices. So if you say, I I'm gonna either eat half or I'm gonna take half home or I'm not gonna take it home, just to be mindful of what you are actually doing in that moment.
Okay.
Number four is practice forgiveness.
So be willing to forgive yourself or anybody else.
Yes,
That one comes up a lot in a lot of bettering yourself. That forgiveness one comes up a lot.
mindfulness and forgiveness for sure.
Yeah.
Try inner child work. So I don't know exactly what that means, but it's more like dealing with if you have either trauma or some ideas from when you were a child that are keep rearing their head, and to see if you were that child and do some maybe meditation or something to address that
Hmm.
child in you and the trauma that you may have had. And then I can't
I'm
remember.
gonna, by the way, I'm gonna Google that. What does inner child work even mean?
Mm.
I want to look into that some more. So, okay, go on.
I did find this lady on Instagram and TikTok. She does these skits of learning to be in a relationship that's not like, if you had trauma from your previous relationship and then unlearning that to be in a new relationship, and how she does these skits of, oh, don't worry, I'm going to clean that up, and the new person is like, what do you mean, it's not a big deal, who cares?
Mm,
There's a lot of trauma that we have to unlearn to do new behaviors.
yeah. I wonder if anytime somebody gets in a new relationship, there's a lot of unlearning.
Oh yes.
I bet you that's like a lot of unlearning when you're in a new relationship. By the way, there's a lot of unlearning when I went from being a single, not single, a newlywed couple to being a parent. There was a lot of unlearning that went on, like, and I'm assuming that every stage in our life, there's a lot more. Even when you retire, you're unlearning a
Oh
lot of.
yeah, because you've had a schedule, a routine,
Mhm.
you pack your lunch and then you come home, and now you don't have a routine and you're not packing your lunch, and yeah, you're right.
And actually, I think when you don't, your part of your brain is so happy and you're like, yay! But then the other part of your brain is craving it.
The routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've done it for so many years.
Yeah. It's
I
like, you got to give me something here, you know?
I agree. So, do you have a call to action for this week?
So I'm actually going to continue with my last week one, but I'm actually going to do a step further. So it's not really, well, it is going to be about this topic a little bit because I need to figure out, I'm okay with making different meals, but why am I not okay with for making a meal for myself?
Yeah.
Why does that? Oh, I don't have any problem with making, like, tonight I'm gonna make 2 different kinds of pasta because my one son doesn't like the one kind that I'm making. I'm
Mhm.
fine with that. It doesn't bother me even in the slightest bit. Why why am I not okay with making myself
I cannot
something
wait to hear.
like, you know? So
Yeah,
anyway, that's where I'm headed down.
I cannot wait to hear this.
Me too. What about you?
So I'm gonna also continue with next week's, but I'm gonna modify it. So my goal was for the month of June, I think it
Yeah.
was, to do salads 5 days a week for the whole month. So
Okay.
20 times in the month. But what I'm gonna try to do is at least 3 times this week, I'm gonna do salad for breakfast.
3 times.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, I'm committing to the 3 times.
Okay. I'm excited for this one.
I think so, me too.
I'm so excited.
Well, because I already have the salad in there, so
Yeah.
if I eat something different for lunch, I won't feel guilty, so to speak.
You'll feel so good that your salad's already eaten for the day, I'm telling you.
Well, I have done it when I've been in restaurants because sometimes I don't know what to order,
Mm.
and it's just so good. So why am I not doing that at home?
Right.
Because I'm
So,
set in my mind that
and then
breakfast is only
we
oatmeal or toaster cereal.
yeah, we all that's another thing that we need to unlearn, that breakfast food is the only thing you can eat at breakfast. You know what I mean? It's so different to think outside of the box sometimes.
I totally agree.
All right, well, we got our work cut out for us this week.
I'm excited.
Yes, all right, I'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.